Hello guys, how's it going? This is a bit of a different video for me. I have discovered cozy book, like YouTube, TikTok, and I've fallen in love. So my content is gonna kind of be shifting from just doing vlogs about me, my life, dentures, my adventure with dentures, you know, the whole thing. And I kind of want to make more creative content now that I've found something that I really love. It makes me really happy, and it's kind of fitting my life where it is now versus, you know, where I was 10 years ago. So having a bit of a shift. I took the day off work today. I'm not feeling too well. So I wanted to do a video with my favorite books and books that are on my to be read list, or TBR. So I have a couple that I've read, a couple I've started, and then ones that I'm looking forward to reading for spooky season. So this is my guide to spooky reading this fall. And just because it's the last week of October, pretty much the last week of October, doesn't mean that we have to stop at Halloween. Because fall doesn't technically end until December. So I know we all get wrapped up in like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and listen, I'm a spooky girl to my core, but I love Christmas. So I'm just as excited for Christmas. Romance novels and stuff like that aren't really my thing. Now, spooky books. I have recently gotten back into reading. When I was a kid, I liked to read all the scary stories, all like scary stories to tell in the dark. Those were my favorite. I really loved like Shel Silverstein, William Sleater, and stuff like that. Like I was really into like the creepy books as a kid. And as an adult, I still really like fantasy, sci-fi, horror. I really like it. So anyway, enough babbling. Let's get into the first book. So this book I just finished a few weeks ago. One of the first creators I found here on YouTube that I really love, that kind of inspired this whole like cottage core witchy cozy fall love. I mean, I've always had a love for it, but I didn't think there was like a niche like that here on YouTube. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I was always like horror stuff and spooky Halloween decorations, and then over the past like year or two, I've really shifted into like my green era. As you can see, I've got my Halloween pillows. My bed is velvet and green, and I like mushrooms and butterflies, and my whole bed is just like shades of green. My couch is green. I have green pillows. Like I plant fake plants everywhere, real plants, like old art, botanical posters. Like I just am all into the witchy vibes, and yeah, it's kind of been a big shift for me. But anyway, the first creator that I found here on YouTube that I like fell in love with, and her videos just bring me so much like calm. Like I just feel so calm when I'm watching them, which as somebody with like crippling anxiety, it's been a real blessing. So her name is Darling Desi, and she does like book reviews and reading lists and stuff like that. And this book she recommended in one of her videos, and I immediately ran out and picked it up. It is called Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery by Brom. And let me tell you, as somebody who loves horror, who loves spooky things, who loves being scared, this book, I want to say the first like 30 pages scared me. There's a scene in this book that is so unnerving and scary. I got scared and I had nightmares. But then the rest of the book, so the beginning has that really scary part, and then the rest is kind of like filler story. Not really filler, but it's like her journey. So it's about this woman. Her name is, I haven't read this in a few weeks and my brain just likes to go Abatha. So her name is Abatha, and it's set in puritanical, you know, New England. Her husband dies, and she is living on this farm that it was owned by her now deceased husband's brother, who's a real jackass. And so he decides he wants the farm back, and he's going to kick her off. So she is trying to save the farm, and she comes in contact with some creatures, and I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot about the creature and how in nature and healing magic and using Mother Nature and the earth. And then things get really dark near the end of the book. Things get incredibly dark where the witch hunt part comes in, torture methods, and I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. But it's her journey of trying to save what she has and then realizing who she is and how powerful she is, and all through the help of this mystical creature, which I don't want to give too much away, but it's so good. It's so incredible. This book had me hooked. I read through it, I want to say, like in 3 days. Like, I really just committed. It sucked me right in the beginning, and it was so incredible. So this one is a 10 out of 10. It's incredible. I highly recommend. The next book that I have read, I'm going to get through the ones that I have read versus the ones that I haven't read. I always have to recommend Coraline. It's a very easy read. So the first time I read this, I wasn't expecting it to be so childlike, like so young adult, or not young adult, I guess, but like a children's book. Like, I wasn't expecting it to read the way that it does, but the story, it's better than the movie. It's so spooky, so creepy. There's a lot more in here, and it is different from the movie. So if you haven't ever read Coraline by Neil Gaiman, 100% recommend it. It's about this little girl who's being ignored by her parents. Her parents are like there, but they're not really present. They don't like hang out with her and play with her and stuff. And she ends up finding this secret door in the house that they move into, and it transports her to another world where everything seems really perfect and wonderful and fun. And it turns out there's much, much more going on behind the scenes than she realizes up until it presents itself. So if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the movie, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but this is really good. It's really creepy, really, really creepy. So 10 out of 10 recommend this one as well. So the reason I didn't like it at first is because, like I said, it didn't read like what I thought it would. I thought it was going to be like kind of an adult, like spooky, like creepy, but it's definitely a children's book. It's a very easy read, and once you kind of get past what you're expecting, you really enjoy it. So when I read it through the second time, I really, really enjoyed it. Okay, this one I read like a year ago, and it stuck with me. I really, really like it. So this is All These Bodies by Kendare? Blake? Kendare? I don't know. Kendare. I don't know. I'm not good with that. But anyway, All These Bodies. It is about, it's so much fear over one little girl. So basically there is a serial killer in this book, and he's moving around draining people's bodies of their blood. And so one night the son, or not the son, but there's a teenage boy, his father is the sheriff. They go out to someone's home that they all know, and it's like a family, and this family has been slaughtered, completely drained of blood. The kids, the parents, it's pretty gruesome, pretty dark. The man, the serial killer, has left, but she is still alive, and so they believe that she is the accomplice. So so they arrest her, and the teenage boy, she's like a teenage girl, so the teenage boy is like really interested. He's like drawn to her immediately, and because he's the sheriff's son, like he's at the jail all the time, so he kind of becomes friends with her and like tries to figure out like what happened, who is this man, like what did he do, did he kidnap her, is she a victim, like all this stuff. And it come to find out, like the girl is not exactly what she seems either, and so the whole story is really, really freaky. A lot of blood, vampires, like not really vampires in a traditional sense, but like he thinks like it's a vampire. It's very good. I don't want to give too much away. I'm not really the greatest at describing books, but it is really, really, really good. So I'll just read you kind of this blurb. 16 bloodless bodies, 2 teenagers, 1 impossible explanation. And so it's really, really good. Yeah, so it's like, how did this one girl end up in the middle of all these bodies? And so it's really good. It's really good. This is another one that sucked me in. I read this in a day and a half. Like, I started it and I finished it the next day. Like, it was really, really good. And so I will 10 out of 10 recommend this as well. Okay, so this one was recommended to me by my sister. I have not read this. She says it's a very easy read. And I don't really know anything about it. I don't remember. She told me that I had to read it. It was incredible. It's a middle grade book, and I'll just kind of read the back to you. We can kind of... But it's with this ominous warning that 11-year-old Ollie and her 2 friends, Coco and Brian, set out on a chilling adventure in the woods with nightfall fast descending and ever-watchful eyes of scarecrows on their backs. What had begun as an unremarkable school trip to a nearby farm soon becomes a frightening journey into the world behind the mist. In order to survive and not remain trapped there forever, Ollie and her friends need to be quick on their feet as they work to unravel a 100-year-old mystery, save their classmates, and beat the villainous Smiling Man at his own game. So she told me this is very spooky, very creepy, very Halloween-y, very, very good. I have this one, and then I have the next one in the series. I haven't read either one, but I am gonna start this, I think, today, because I've been looking for something kind of spooky that I wanted to read that was like an easy read, because sometimes with my ADHD, I don't think I'm dyslexic, but like sometimes I can't process what I'm reading, so it makes it a little difficult to read things that are a little bit more in adult written, you know, like written for adults with English comprehension, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I'm probably gonna start this today. We were talking about it yesterday when I went to visit her. But this one's by Katherine Arden, and it's little penguin books, but R.L. Stine says it's terrifying and fun, so can't beat that. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. Okay. So then the next one is a movie I've seen, but I haven't read the book yet. My Best Friend's Exorcism. And the reason I bought the book, to be honest, I love the movie. I thought it was so gross and so like campy and funny and dark and just gross and awful. It's because it looks like an 80s VHS tape. I love the artwork, and like I just think it's so good. It's just so good. So I already know what the story is about. I'm wondering how different the book is going to be, but basically these 2 girls go with a group of friends up into the woods into this cabin that's owned by one of their other friends, and there's like a whole mystery about this place and that there was like murders there, and basically her best friend gets possessed but is acting like, you know, she's not possessed, and basically they do an exorcism on her, and it's so fun. It's so messed up and so funny, and like it's just gory and gross in the movie especially, but I'm really, 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 really excited to read this one, so I probably will start these 2 today. If I get tired of this one, I'm probably gonna start this one, but this one is by Grady Hendrix, and I like at the front of it, it says, "If The Exorcist had been authored by Tina Fey instead of William Peter Blatty, it might have been born an uncanny resemblance to what Grady Hendrix has accomplished with My Best Friend's Exorcism." So, yeah, gross, gory, scary, and funny. So, I love this. The next one is one that I started. I think I started this, but like I got a few pages in, and then I was like too distracted. I couldn't focus on it, but it's called The Final Girl Support Group, a novel by Grady Hendrix. I just realized, oh my god, that's the same person. That's hilarious. And wow. Okay, anyway. In the horror movies, the final girls are the ones left standing when the credits roll. They made it through the worst night of their lives, but what happens after? From chainsaws to summer camp slayers, Grady Hendrix' fast-paced and wickedly humorous thriller, The Final Girl Support Group, pays tribute to and slyly subverts to our most popular horror films, movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream. So Lynette Tarkington is a real-life final girl who survived a massacre. For more than a decade, she's been meeting with 5 other final girls and their therapists in a support group for those who endured the unthinkable, working to put their lives back together. Then one woman misses a meeting and Lynette's worst fears are realized. Someone knows about the group and is determined to rip their lives apart again, piece by piece. But the thing about Final Girls is that no matter how bad the odds, how dark the night, and how sharp the knife, they will never, ever give up. So I really want to finish this one. Like I said, I started it, I got a few pages in, and I was like, what did I read? I can't do this right now. So very, very excited for this one. And then the last one is one that I found at Goodwill. It's called The Cellar by A.J. Whitten. Romeo and Juliet meet the living dead in the cellar. And what do you do when your sister's dating a zombie is the back of it. So I thought this looked really funny and really interesting because like Romeo and Juliet and zombies, it's kind of like Pride and Prejudice and zombies. That movie was fantastic, by the way. But yeah, I thought this would be really funny. It's also a middle grade young adult. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this one too. But everyone at school can't stop talking about how hot Meredith Willis's new next-door neighbor, Adrian, is. But Meredith can't help but think there's something strange about the cool, sophisticated new guy and those sunglasses he constantly wears. And those sunglasses he constantly wears are the least of it. Every time he's around, Meredith sees things, terrifying things that nobody else seems to notice. And when she dares to sneak a look into the windows of his house, she sees something in the cellar that makes her believe that Adrian might be more than just a creep. He may be an actual monster. So, yeah, I really, really am excited for this one. I've had this one for like 2 years now and I've never read it. Like I said, I love books. I love books. I love physical books. I can't do audiobooks because one, they cost too much money. You pay for a subscription service and then you still have to buy the books. And I'm just like, that's kind of dumb. But like, I just love books. I love the way they look. I love the way they smell. I love the like flipping through the pages. I have like a whole thing. But like like I said, my ADHD and my anxiety is usually so bad that I can't just sit down and focus. And then there's times where I will get hyper focused and I would read through all of these books in like a week. So it kind of depends. Like I guess it's a little bit of mania, but I'll get like hyper fixated on something. And I will just read and read and read and read and read and be unable to stop or do anything else. So yeah, but I love books. So anyway, this is my haunted recommendations for October and fall, not just October and Halloween, but for fall, if you're in the spooky mood. But yeah, I'm really excited. Like I said, I think I'm gonna start this one today. I feel like I could probably get through this today. So very excited. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my recommendations. Leave me your recommendations in the comments, whether they're horror or cozy mysteries or anything like that. I've also been reading Shirley Jackson's A House on Haunted Hill, or The Haunting of Hill House. I think it's one of those. It's a Haunting of Hill House. Anyway, it's really good. It was really good. But I didn't like it as much. It was good, but it kind of read very weird, like the dialogue was very weird. But anyway, that's for another video. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for hanging out with me. Leave me your book recommendations, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!